Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are going to be continuing the narration and character voicing for Where Vernal Winds Will Never Blow. Still a long title, still a mouthful to pronounce. Jokes aside, before we begin, thank you very much for the likes and the comments on the previous episode, much appreciated, and they help a lot in the algorithm battles, so thank you. And also before we begin, considering this is part 2 and we will be doing the usual from here on out, to all the newcomers to the channel bumping into it through this episode, playlists are in the description of the video for not just this story but the preceding stories, all in order, numerical from start to finish, that are part of this entire storyline so far. However, if it does feel like it is a lot of story to cover, or you don't have time to either listen to all of those or read all of those yourself, I would recommend at least familiarize yourself with the events of the preceding story to this one, which was Invitation to Wine, considering that a lot of the plot, characters, and a lot more carries over from that story into Vernal Winds. So that one would be your, like, top priority, essentially. But, with that out of the way, we will do now the usual recap of part 1. For those of you who want to skip, the timestamp is in the comment section below, pinned comment, just hit it and you will be straight at the stages and in today's part at the beginning. But, on the previous part, we essentially began this story with the reintroduction of a bunch of characters and the introduction of a couple of new ones. But we essentially began with Lee, who appears to be in Yumen together with Waifu, on the search for Waifu's father, of whom he heard rumors about that he might be in Yumen, that are at least a year old at this point, but still, he might be still around. And he is still around, as we've seen, and that is definitely no spoiler. I mean, you can see the guy literally in the art for this event here in the menu. But yeah, they almost run into each other. Just missed. However, Lee does meet a mysterious woman who sits at the table with him for a short while, purely based on a mistake by her because she was expecting or thought him someone else. Later we see also Waifu, who is currently participating in some arena battles, all in the hopes of ranking up her position in the arenas so she can land at a higher ranking position. So, in hopes that her father might see her name on the leaderboards, essentially. And we also see Lin Yusha, who is obviously in the city, or rather she is, when we meet her for the first time, outside of the city with an armed escort. And they were on their way to assist a group of, another group of escorts who were escorting a Catastrophe messenger back to the city. They do arrive, but they find them already dead and murdered. They do recover, however, the recorder of the Catastrophe messenger, indicating that Yumen is currently on a course with the Catastrophe, and the calculations inside of the recorder provide a nice route around it. They do, however, consider that the Feranmut followers, a cult essentially, who worships the Feranmut as they would be gods, might be behind the assassination of the Catastrophe messenger and its escorts, and Lin also finds out that the one of the returning characters from the previous story, Du Yao Yi, is actually the person who employed the escorts for the messenger, and she sadly has to deliver her the sad news about their passing. In the meantime, we see a huge gathering as well of very prominent figures, leaders essentially of that are not just leaders of Yumen, but also a couple from Lungmen that carried over. Essentially, we have Lian Xun, Wei and Wu, the Grand Tutor, Ling, aka Rat King, all gather together in Yumen in the anticipation of Chongyue passing on his title of Grand Master to someone else. they do receive the news about the assassination of the Catastrophe messenger. The general essentially issues a command to the city to lock it down so that the perpetrators might not escape, but also to capture as many Feranmut followers to be interrogated about their agenda, and also to issue a warning to the citizens that the city will be on a course correction in about 2 days. Also, while everybody is being gathered essentially in one place, Wei and Wu almost loses his life as the aforementioned woman that by mistake stepped into contact with Lee at the beginning of the story jumps into the gathering between them and almost takes his life. But he gets saved by none other than Chongyue, who steps in to deflect her attack. She does, after that, escape. However, none of them can actually stop her. But in the meantime, a young woman is seen stealing a sword out of Chongyue's possession. The sword, however, is a very important sword, considering that inside of it is the sealed consciousness of the bestial Sui. So that sword might cause some problems if it lands in the wrong person's hands. In the meantime, while everything is going on, the city is put on lockdown, and all of that, Lin Yusha runs into an acquaintance from Lungmen, aka Waifu, and into Du Yaoyi, who were together, and the three of them pretty much form a team from there on to get to find out what happened and who is behind the assassination of the escorts and the Catastrophe messenger. And that is pretty much where we left off. So then, let us proceed. So, like I said in the previous episode, we will be tackling this story two notes at a time, if they're long enough, and trust me, they are. Also, considering that I did forget last time to include like the descriptions and the flavor text rather of the enemies on each stage, thanks to a comment I did decide that I will probably keep or rather not add them until we reach a stage where I decide that it will be a nice stage to add into the description because of either a mini boss appearing on the stage or something else being kind of important about the stage to add as usual as I do to these narrations. So we'll add them, but we'll add them all in a single fell swoop in a future episode. But today we shall begin on stage 2 and end on stage 3 with the story. So then, let us begin. Stage 2, Yellow Sands. How will the returning city tell dust from sand? Well, all I can say to that is, at least it's not yellow snow. Anyway, beginning. Anasa. The word means one without roots in an ancient language. My people say that all things are uncertain except life and death. Trying to cling on to something only brings trouble. That's why we drifted from one place to another, living with the barren lands. There is always water and game to be found, and at the end of our lives we return to dust, return to the earth. But the catastrophe destroyed our camp, and most of us lost our lives in the migration. A woman from a nomadic city happened to pass by and guided us to safety. She taught us how to fight, shared knowledge, and told us stories of the cities. She said that everyone should have a place to call home. Stay down. The injured girl responding back in an ancient Sarkas language. Who are you? Why am I here? Can't understand a word. Not that it matters. You're here to heal your wounds. You'll do exactly as the doc says if you want to see the sun rise again. If you don't want to die here, do as I say. Now responding back in a hesitant Yanese. Where am I? Who are you? This is an infirmary, and you're a patient. I'm a helper at the infirmary. Where's my sword? The girl reaches around her in panic, only calming down when she finds the weapon beside her. It's there. Thank goodness. We found you passed out at the door of the infirmary yesterday, but you wouldn't let the sword go. Did you get hurt fighting over it? Doesn't concern you. No need to look at me like that. I could have taken it while you were passed out, if I wanted to. I've seen many people die over so-called masterwork weapons. Did you really think wielding a weapon like that would make you strong enough to beat enemies you couldn't? I don't trust weapons. The only thing I trust is my fists. A true warrior shouldn't entrust victory to something else. You don't understand. I'm not trying to fight with the sword. I want to repay a debt. The sword is a weapon for killing. My mentor told me the sword means a lot to her. I promised her that I would bring her the sword and bring it to her grave at least. Has your mentor passed away? Yes. Well, I'm not interested in listening to people talk about their debts and grudges. If you say you fought over the sword to repay a debt, I'll believe it. A woman who's almost died has no need to lie. So it means you see your obligations as being more important than your life. That's not a bad thing. Why did you help me? What's an infirmary for if not to help people? But I don't have any money. I know that money is required in exchange for kindness in the nomadic cities. That's not wrong, but you can work your debt off as well. Why do you think I'm working here for the doc? The difference is that I'm working to pay the medical bills of the people I beat up. I do the heavy lifting at the clinic, so you should learn to do things like drying herbs and wrapping wounds. You don't know as much as I do. A few months should be enough to pay your debt off. No. I will find a way to repay your kindness, but I am in a hurry. I need to get out of the city. You're not going anywhere. I said stay down. You're here to get your injuries healed. You managed to survive them. Would be a shame if you died now, not to mention an embarrassment to the clinic. But kindness is important too. I'll think about it once you're healed up and repaid your debt. Another patient? I'll take a look. Stay down. What is it? Are you the doctor, sir? The doc's out. I'm a helper here. I can help you if you just want meds, but you'll have to wait if you want the doc to look at you. I apologize for the interruption. We are investigating a case and pursuing a suspect. Here is my token. We would appreciate your cooperation in answering a few questions. Ask what you want. I'll decide if I want to answer. Has this clinic treated or seen anyone who suffered serious stab wounds? Nope and nope. Either you're buying or you go find someone else to bother. I would like to take a quick look. It'll only take a minute. Nope. Patients and customers only. I have nothing but the greatest respect for the clinic's work. I would rather not have to force my way in. But this concerns the safety of all of Yumen. Your cooperation would be appreciated. You got your rules, I got mine. You ain't coming in unless I say so. Then I apologize. Zuoli's movements are swift as a foul beast. But he feels a hand on his collar just as he's about to cross the clinic's threshold, throwing him backwards. The burly man continues to stand there as though he has never moved. It is as though the foul beast flew into an invisible and boundless net. This man is no ordinary brute. I said you ain't coming in. You got a death wish, kid. Do you understand the consequences of obstructing justice? Don't understand, don't care. Try that again, I dare you. Enough! This is not a game. Huh? There's someone else in there? Hey, where did the girl go? What a... Bandages and cotton balls are scattered on the table, and the bed is still warm. The air smells of blood and herbal medicine. You said no heavily wounded patients were taken in lately. How do you explain the gauze and blood? Yeah, I told her to stay put. She said she needed to get out of the city. She must be headed to the gates. Oh no, I'm gonna catch her, or the dog's gonna put her bill on my tab. Stop right there. Meanwhile, some cheerful shouting can be heard. Tea leaves, Shangshi rock tea, Kovu flower tea, Jiangxi white tea, Dawang raw leaves. Anything you want, I've got it here. 2 carts of Lungmen green tea. Excuse me, miss, but we don't sell tea by the cart. Miss! We meet again. Any updates on what I asked you to look into? We agreed on terms. I don't know what you mean. How many caravans in this batch are carrying false permits? How did they get those permits? I need to know more. I'll pay the taxes I owe. The whole amount. Please don't ask any more questions. We can talk about your previous offenses another day. Answer my question. Help! Thief! The angry passerbys. You've got nerd stealing in broad daylight. Grab her! You test my patience. The Lungman agent from before. Watch out! I saw an accomplice go that way. Excuse me. The owner is out, you need something made. I just have a couple of questions. This is a smithy. The inn's where you go for gossip. I hear there are some old Jiangju kung fu stories that only circulate here. Fine, I guess it can't hurt to have someone to chat with while I work. Far away. I really ought to buy something for your trouble. What do you want? Frying pan, kitchen knife? How about a sword? Sorry, can't do that. Household items only. But the sign on the door says Sword Forge. This is probably the last place in Yumen that still uses that particular wording. It's just a name. The owner could change it to the tea parlor or the guest house if he wanted. Fair enough. You're not from around here, are you? Tourists? I've wanted to see the deserts of Yumen for a long time. We get a bunch of tourists every time we link up with Lungmen thanks to the Wuxia TV show. Anyone with half a brain should know that it's all fake. What's so good about this backwater place? Do you want a souvenir sword? Trust me, you'd better off getting a pack or two of human jerky. By the way, because human sounds so close to the word human, that combination of words, human jerky. Wow. Anyway, every place has its own unique scenery. It's always worth a look. Setting aside whether the TV shows are fake or not, I'm sure there's a story behind this smithy. Sure of that, are you? I don't mean to offend, but every shop I passed by on my way from the market was full of people, except this one. Why would a shop with no history or business be on a busy street like this? And I doubt a shop that really has no business would have so many furnaces burning and so many iron ingots lying around. This is why I hate talking to smart people. Makes my head hurt. I'll take that as a compliment. Alright, what do you want to know? I wanted to ask you about stories from the world of Kung Fu, but you've piqued my interest in something else. How did this sword forge become a smithy? Meanwhile, a man running for his life can always find an extra burst of speed. Just as he's about to shake his pursuer, a rope appears out of nowhere, tripping him over. He tries to pull himself back up, only to find nothing but quicksand around him. Had enough yet? Good. Now we can talk. What are you afraid of? This group is different. I know. They'll have my head if I talk. I have a family. They're counting on me to feed them, please. I'm glad you remember that you have a family. Let me remind you. They're all in Lungmen. You... Miss Lin, I know how you and the Red King operate. You wouldn't... That's up to you. Or do I really need to prove to you what I'm capable of? Tell me what you know. The smugglers that make the rounds when Lungmen and Yumen link up are usually pretty consistent. The same groups working with the same forgers, same suppliers, same fences. This time around though, there's a new group that nobody knows anything about, not even the oldest crooks. Some tried to pick a fight and nobody ever saw them again. The new smugglers disappeared? No, the ones who picked the fight. What else do you know? Out with it. I've heard, well, rumors about where they hide all the and sell their stuff. You took care of things at the market? Nothing a few coins couldn't fix. Good. And this man? Take him to the barracks, then back to the LGD after we're done here in Yumen. I told you everything I know, why? Quit complaining. It's all for your own safety. He just disappeared? The markets of Yumen are not usually so busy. The streets are packed with people, and parents hold their children's hands a little tighter. It is not easy trying to find someone in this crowd. Are you buying or not? Get out of the way if you're not buying. You're in everybody's way. Sorry. The noise of people shouting, arguing, and bartering drowns out deadlier sounds. What the... The sword comes from behind without a sound. Zhuo Li takes a step forward, almost by instinct. The point of the sword tears through his clothes, inches from leaving behind a wound that would have crippled him for life. Who's there? Zhuo Li turns around, but sees only the bustling market. Did he intentionally draw me here? A commotion here would... Where are you? The market sure is busy today, isn't it? Mr. Li? Looks like we have some troublemakers in the crowd. Be careful. I noticed. Did you... Just a little optical trick. Won't last long. It's dangerous here. We should leave. No choice, I suppose. Turns out we're the ones who fell into a trap. Let's get out of here. We don't want civilians getting hurt. And that proceeds us into the battle, but we shall continue. Ma, look, a fight! Happens all the time. Haggling turns into a fight, nothing to see. Stay close. I don't know how I'd find you if you get lost here. They won't give you up so easily. Protecting ourselves is one thing, but it'll be hard to avoid harming civilians. Do you have an idea? There's a way out, but you'll have a mess on your hands. Wait! Damn, too late. The Shanhaizhong dart through the crowds like fins through water. The fins leap from the water en masse. Zhuo Li and Li cannot hope to fend off their attacks without harming the surrounding civilians. Snow falls. Not scattered flakes of snow, but a steady stream of white. The blizzard cuts off the rapid flow, stopping the Shanhaizhong in their tracks. Such a response is more than just talent and training. It is the result of experience accumulated from countless deadly battles. Leave. Don't chase. There are too many people here. These villains have no qualms about harming innocents. Goodbye. It's been a while. It's been a while, but you don't seem to have gotten any better. Why have you come? The Grandmaster instructed me to help you. And who is this gentleman? A friend I met on a previous mission, and an old acquaintance of Liang's. Someone without an official position shouldn't involve himself in this, even a friend of Liang's. Well, I just happened to pass by. Anyway, someone always tells me not to meddle whenever I'm hired to do something. Guess it's a private eye trope. My life would have been in danger if not for your help, but are you really here by chance? Would the Sui regulator believe me if I said yes? No jokes, please. This is important. I never look for trouble. Trouble just has a tendency to find me. I'll leave it that my client is an acquaintance of Chief Wei of Lungmen. You may have already met him at the barracks last night. I guess the ones who attacked you just now were the people he hired me to find. What else do you know about what happened in Yumen last night? Not much. The ones who hire private eyes aren't exactly the talkative type. You get used to it. Maybe I could help if you told me more. I stabbed the assassin in the scuffle last night, so I started my search in the clinics. I searched every single clinic in the city and didn't find anything unusual until the last one. A man called himself a helper. A man called himself a helper and would not let me in. I forced my way in and found gauze and blood. The man ran off with an agitated look on his face. Someone has the nerve to obstruct the sui regulator in Yumen. I wasn't sure what to make of it. Obstruction of justice is a crime, but I couldn't make heads or tails of what the man was talking about. It didn't feel premeditated. Could you describe the man in more detail? Let me think. Feline, male, looks to be in his 40s, exceptionally skilled in kung fu. Huh. Could it really be him? We should hurry. Yusha wants us to visit the deceased bodyguard's family. I'm coming. This is the last house anyway. Say, I haven't had the chance to ask you, why did you come to Yumen? I told you, I set up my own logistics company. Mr. Zhang told me his daughter came to Yumen too, but I didn't expect to actually meet you. That's how fate works, I guess. Say, since we've worked together on this case, wouldn't it be natural for you to join Chngyue Logistics afterwards? You're still talking about this? Anyway, it seems like Yusha dragged a lot of people she knows into this. I didn't know she was the Rat King's daughter. You know Mr. Lin too? Not really. That's heard of him on his travels. I thought you would know each other well, being fellow Lungmenites. Lungmen isn't exactly one of those small towns where everybody knows everybody. I see Mr. Lin from time to time in the course of my work, but I've only heard rumors about Yusha. I'm curious, what do Lungmenites think of the Rat King? The word Lungmenite is way too broad. Some think of him as a benevolent protector, some want as little to do with him as possible, others just see him as a kindly old man. Only one thing is certain, he's the key to Lungmen's peace and security. Sounds like someone not to be trifled with. Must be hard being Miss Lin. Why do you say that? Fathers always want their children to walk the path they pave for them. Especially accomplished fathers. Do you not get along with Mr. Zhang? I wouldn't say that. It's more like I prefer some distance between us. Some fathers out there don't care about their children at all. They do as they please, leaving their children for somebody else to take care of, or they disappear for a decade without a word. Do you mean... Never mind, I don't want to bring him up now. If the old man went missing for a decade, I would take over the association and rebuild it in my own image. I would show him that I can do better. But what if he never comes back to see how well you've done? This is the place. Hello, anybody home? Excuse me, we're... Hey, the door's unlocked, and there's nobody in the clinic. This is the fourth place. The guard who died was the son of the doctor here. The doctor's a local who has been running the clinic for decades. No other members in the household. News of the messenger's death reached the city yesterday afternoon. The doctor should already know. But the room is neat and tidy, not a speck of dust on the furniture. The two bags in the corner look like items from today's market. I don't know human customs, but it's as though nothing happened whatsoever. How would a father react to the news that their child is dead? Certainly wouldn't act like nothing happened, at least. But there is no one home.
It's not right for us to barge in. Let's rendezvous with Yusha.
The warehouse that the smugglers talked about is just ahead. Strange.
Do you know this place?
I checked out the various depots in the city when I visited last time. This warehouse was used by the Southside Sword Forge for storing metals and originium fuel. The Sword Forge is a reputable business operation. It shouldn't have anything to do with this. Yamogacha! He played us for fools! That sentence that he said at the beginning pretty much just translates to "Are you serious or are you kidding me?" In this case, probably "Are you kidding me?" would be the more appropriate kind of thing. Anyway,
take it easy. We're in no rush. He doesn't have the nerve to lie in a situation like that. We're already here. All we need to do is take a look. You keep watch. I'll check it out.
Be careful. Lost your way, miss?
Isn't this the stonemason's warehouse? I'm here to buy stone. Your boss couldn't sculpt his way out of a shoebox, but the stone's not half bad, so I thought I would buy a bunch. He gave me permission to come to the warehouse. He says you'll show me around.
Zong stonemason?
Think so? The shop at the east end of the market.
The Zong stonemason's warehouse is on the west side. This is the south side. So you can stop right there. Look around you. Nothing but iron and scrap metal. Not a rock to be found. I'm sure you're lost.
Damn, I even paid a guy to take me here. That fraud. Sorry for the intrusion.
It's fine. Let me see you out. The clouds part to let the bright sun shine through, stinging Lin Yusha's skin slightly. She subconsciously reaches behind her neck, then looks up at the man. What kind of attire would leave a sunburn on the neck like that? What are you looking at?
Nothing. Goodbye.
How did it go?
Stay here and keep a close eye out for nearby movement.
Something didn't seem right?
Don't ask questions. Just keep your eyes peeled and report anything unusual.
Roger. Alright, and we shall continue on to stage number 3, titled How Old Trees Grow. New leaves have yet to grow on the old tree. Does it remember the ones who planted it? Let us out. We've been through this. The general has declared a high alert to ensure human safety. No one is allowed to leave the city without permission. Turn back. You dare speak of human safety to me? We were guarding Yumen long before you even picked up a sick kiddo. In times like these, I need you to think about the greater good. The greater good? Do you remember when a group of bandits infiltrated the city and injured innocent people in the process? It happened so suddenly, and the situation was so messy that we refused to lift a finger, so we had to take things into our own hands. We chased them hundreds of li and spent 3 whole days in the desert. We had to carry half our brothers back to the city, but we managed to drag the bandits along with us. Now our brothers lie dead out there, their bodies still rotting, and you're asking us to wait? Master Jing, we all know your story, and we have infinite respect for you. But General Zuo has decreed that while we are hunting a serious criminal, no one is to leave the city without his permission. His awe-inspiring authority has me quaking. Tell the Zuo Shanliao to come out here and face us. Impudence. Master Meng. I heard you shouting from across the city. These men are only following orders. Why do you have to be so hard on them? We just can't let them talk to us like this. You're venerable elders of our city. You fought many battles to defend Yumen, even messengers through catastrophes. Our stability is thanks to your hard work. Even though the Lord Exorcist and Grandmaster are still present, you dare to flaunt your seniority as if it matters. Have you no heart? Good men need not remind the people of their past deeds. If you need to boast about it, then that just goes to show how little it truly mattered. Go home and make no further trouble. I will ensure your fallen brothers are spoken for. Yes, Master. The blame lies with me. I neglected their discipline. We would never blame you. About those 4 brothers, you have my condolences. I'll take care of their families. There's no need to bother the Lord Exorcist. But since they died delivering a letter to Yumen, I'd like to ask the Lord Exorcist his opinion on the situation. We have to focus on the assassination for now, but when we're done, the Lord Exorcist will absolutely dispatch troops to clear out the bandits. Right. You have to prioritize, that makes sense. I just want a word with the Lord Exorcist. I need a reply, any kind of reply, to answer to those brothers. Once we are done with this, you are all welcome to the Sword Forge for drinks.
Yusha, how's the situation on your end? Have the families of the victims been located? Actually, 2 of the 4 were living alone. As for the other 2, their families happened to be away from home, so we took it upon ourselves to barge in. It's a bit strange that all of their homes looked so normal on the inside. Could it be a coincidence that they all just happened to be out? A whole day has passed since we got news of their deaths. Who goes there? You scared the life out of me! I just felt like someone was watching us. You could sense that even in this crowd? Let's continue this inside the inn.
Then Yusha, stay your steps.
You know this man? Just give me a moment. I'll have a few words with him. Alright. I didn't expect the monitor sensor of the Department of Discipline and Supervision to remember me. I think it's been 5 years since we last met.
The timing of your meeting was a memorable one.
But not very pleasant.
Just official business, you and I both. Are you also here to investigate the events that have transpired in Yumen and Weilin?
Can the monitor sensor offer any leads?
No. At this time I am not intervening in an official capacity. I am merely acting as a former subordinate of the Lord Exorcist and as a subject of Yan, to apprehend the villains who disturb the people's peace.
I must say, I'm a little surprised that you aren't advising me to stay out of it, Monitor Sensor Taihei.
I have no reason to dissuade you from your duties, Weilin. Do forgive me for prying, Weilin. You have only just arrived in the city, so how exactly do you plan to investigate a case when you are yet unfamiliar with the situation?
I have my own means, of course. Don't you worry, Monitor Sensor Taihei.
I have no doubt your means will prove more than adequate, Weilin.
You might as well make your words clear, Mentor Sensor Taihei.
As I said, we are on official business, and nothing more than that. I merely offered a reminder, and Weilin, the enemy lies in the open while we are hidden. But do be careful still. I will take my leave.
I've seen that big guy before, in Changzhou. I think he was from the Department of Discipline and Supervision. Just how many Mandarins do you know? It's not like we're friends. We just have prior dealings. What's the difference? The difference is that you don't want to be friends with some people you have dealings with. Let's go.
Dusk. The sun goes down quickly in early spring, and the weather is still a little cold. The old man fills the furnace with a handful of firewood. The weak fire is not fit for forging or even heating. These days all the forge equipment runs on originium, but the old man stubbornly keeps such a useless furnace here. While waiting for the fire to intensify, he picks up a broom and carefully sweeps up the sand that has accumulated in the courtyard overnight, leaving none of the crevices between the stone bricks untouched. Of course, the old man knows that it will only stay clean for a moment and will soon return to its sandy state. But he still toils to sweep the ground over and over again, as if hoping to catch a glimpse of a completely clean forge. These legs of mine are still ache from the cold. Even the weather is getting warmer. It's about closing time. If it isn't urgent, why not come back tomorrow? Are you looking for someplace else, girl? This is a forge, not a clinic.
I'm looking for a place mentioned in a story.
You're hurt too bad to be running around the city like this. I hate to say it, but the city is under high alert right now, and a girl with a knife wound has shown up on my doorstep. It'll be trouble for me if I don't take her in to the authorities. The last thing I want is more trouble, so I'd better get her to explain where she came from.
Are you the one called Meng Tie?
It means something that you know the name, young as you are. But I don't recognize you at all.
Shifu told me there is a forge hidden here in the nomadic city, and that the owner of the forge is a skilled swordsmith. He can make all kinds of weapons and armor, and also craft toys for the children of the city.
I can't recall anyone who would talk about this old man like that.
In the yard of the forge lies a pagoda tree, transplanted by the both of you from a faraway place.
The old man can't help but look back. In the corner of the yard stands a pagoda tree, leaves swaying slightly against the evening wind. Spring comes late in the north, and new leaves have yet to grow on the branches. Flashing back. Now, can we say that the battle is truly over? We've suffered a number of casualties, but for the next 20 years at least, these bandits will be cowed. I've heard tales from long ago of expeditions celebrating their triumphs by carving out their achievements on the furthest mountains they could see. Perhaps today we are worthy of that legacy. Not a bad idea, but we have only sand around us and nothing solid on which to write. There is a lone tree here, so why not? Good, let's go with that.
Good? This withered tree is about to crumble into dust and you still want to torment it?
Do you have an alternative then?
What's the point of engraving your exploits on a fixed point when we live in a nomadic city that regularly travels thousands of li? Why not we take this tree back and replant it in Yumen? Our story will be remembered by the tree. And if it manages to take root in the city, even for just a day...
Very well. Not a bad idea at all. Did you get heat stroke from being out here too long? We're at least 100 leagues from Yumen. Are you planning to carry that tree all the way back there? Why not? We carried so much food and water on the way here and now it's all gone. So what's wrong with bringing an extra tree on our way back? General Zuo, TA, please lend me a hand. Careful not to damage the roots. You called her Shifu?
Shifu saved mine and my family's lives out in the wilderness and taught us how to live among the settled.
What is your name?
Yumen.
If I'm not mistaken, you're an Anasa, yet you have such a refined name.
Shifu gave it to me.
No wonder. Yundong Xian Liu, Zhizai Xishan Jing. A classic poem. The cloud floats for 8,000 li until it finally settles upon a mountaintop. She wished for you to find a home, like the cloud. So very quickly here, the first sentence there, I couldn't find anything what it refers to, outside of just putting it into a translator and see what comes up. He mentions a classic poem, so I do wonder if this is a sentence from an actual poem, because from just using plain old Google Translate, all I could get out of the whole sentence is athletic potential and fitness are all here, which sounds weird. So if this is part of some kind of poem or in some kind of maybe dialect even, if someone knows what it's from or what the sentence actually translates to, please do leave me a comment. Doesn't matter when, how, or when and how you're gonna leave it. I'm probably gonna see it. I would highly appreciate it to know, because I couldn't dig anything up unless it's completely made up. But yeah, anyway, took me a while to also learn how to say this entire sentence, Jesus. But anyway, continuing.
Shifu recited it better than you, but the meaning is the same.
Well, thank you very much. I trained. I have no doubt. Come to think of it, she gave the Grandmaster his name as well.
That fickle-minded heartless man.
What's this then? Hold on, that sword you're carrying. You stole the Grandmaster's sword.
I will bring it to Shifu's grave as an offering.
The wind whips up the leaves, rustling the old pagoda tree. The fire in the furnace has died down, and the sky grown dark, but the old man does not move. The girl can't see his expression clearly. She's dead?
Yes, Shifu's illness was very serious. Her last wish was to look upon this sword one last time, so I must deliver it to her. Do you want it to? Do you want it too?
Certainly not. Yumen is a very dangerous place to be right now.
I know that with this sword on me, all the soldiers will be hunting for me.
No, what I'm saying is, the city will become even more dangerous in the near future. It's about to face a test, but before that, I should at the very least try to get you out. Your Shifu is waiting for you, as are all of us.
But how do you get out of the city? I didn't think about it when I came in. They sealed the gate, so I tried to force my way through, and was injured in the process.
The wind picks up. A handful of fine sand flies onto the old man's face, and into the gap of time that has gone by. It is soft, moist from the twilight hours of early spring. The old man kneads the sand in his fingers. I have an idea. Hey, welcome back. What's the word?
No doctor or staff in the clinic, just some princely-looking official who asked me what I was doing.
And what did you tell him?
Just what you told me. Last night I hurried over with a family member in tow, who suffered a concussion when our store shelves collapsed. We forgot to bring money for the bill, so I came back today to make the payment. The nobleman left after asking me the question. I don't get it. Here's your money back, since I never had to pay anyone.
Just keep it. Take it as a reimbursement for your hard work.
It's so strange. Is Yumen's tourist season that lucrative?
I've heard of Mr. Lee's skill, but to even pull one over on the young like that... That's not just any kid. He's a SUI regulator candle holder. I wouldn't dare lie to him. Just helping him rule out a wrong answer. As for Mr. Lin, what are you doing here? Just out for a stroll. If we were in Lungmen Park right now, I'd believe it. And how are things coming along for you, Mr. Lee? It's a little strange. I haven't been able to figure out exactly what the job is you've asked me to do, but the one I've been looking for might be able to clue me in. That's good to hear. You've tasked me with the job, but you still look uneasy. Why not take matters into your own hands? Any action I take would affect Wei and Wu's reputation. I also want to just watch from the sidelines and see how she does things. Now that's the Mr. Lin I know. This is an important moment, but there is still ample time to make a probing move. A beard well lettered is already half shaved. I have trust in you as well, Mr. Lee. Wei and Wu has often lamented your decision not to stay with the LGD. Let's not talk about that. Wei and Wu doesn't let go of somebody if he's decided they're useful to him. Speaking of which, are you still determined to have your girl Yusha take over your work? That's not for me to decide. If she wants to stay, Lungmen will have a place for her. If she wants to leave, Lungmen won't trouble her. I would like you to take care of her, no matter what path she takes, Mr. Lee. It's an honor to have your trust, Mr. Lin. If there's anything I can do to help out, I will give it my all. Doze. Now then, time to stop bothering you and continue my stroll. By the way, that sentence of 2 words was a simple thank you. Oh, Huai Tianpei, he's a father too. And another one got added to the Lee Agency of Daycare. Anyway, did you see the citywide notice issued by the patrol battalion on your way here? According to the Imperial Astronomical Bureau's latest calculations, Yumen needs to adjust course to avoid a catastrophe. Starting tomorrow, at the hour of Shen, the city will begin to slow down. By around the hour of Yu, it will have dropped to its lowest speed, and will pick up again once the course is corrected. Your chance lies within that time frame.
But if the city slows down, won't the gates be even more closely guarded?
Dear girl, did you take a good look around you before entering Yumen? A desert spanning thousands of li, with only misfortune and the occasional traveler to meet, but a part of Yanyi's territory still. From the very beginning, Yumen was designed as a military fortress to guard the north. Which is why the city has sand sluices in dams on the outer wall, unlike conventional nomadic cities. It is said that the Tumutianchi took inspiration from the water wheels in the Jiangnan waterways and fitted it onto this border city. The base of the city sinks into the sand, but the huge dams powered by the arts are always running to disperse the sand and remove all forms of resistance. Thanks to these sand sluices, the city of Yumen is able to move flexibly across the vast desert and adapt to any situation. Like a river current, it moves with the tide, a spectacular sight to behold. I would like to just add here that obviously already just thinking about gigantic nomadic cities on tracks is already a, logistical nightmare with resources, building materials, and just the power output you would require to just move that thing. But then we have something like this, which is a nomadic city, a bit more condensed than the other ones, but still. It's a city that moves sand out of the way. Whatever. Anyway. Normally, the sand sluices would never serve as a path for people to walk on. If one jumps into the sand sluice, he can only expect to be crushed by the turbines or suffocate under the rolling yellow sand. So tomorrow at the hour of Yu, when Yumen is traveling at its slowest speed, the flow of sand through the sluices will also be slowed. But at least there's a ghost of a chance in this idea.
I'll do it. I need to get out of the city by any means.
But what about your wounds?
I'll manage. I went to a clinic earlier.
Good. It's just that security around the sand sluices is usually lax, but I'm not sure if things have changed now with the city under high alert.
On my way here, I heard the general of the city is personally leading the defense of the keep.
It seems. To meet or not to meet, that was the question, but it seems the answer is meet.
You're going out?
We have to be quick. I need to go scout the surroundings. There are also some preparations to be made, if you were to leave the city via the sand sluices. I'll hang a closed sign on the door while I'm out, so make use of this time to recuperate. I'll come back to fetch you.
Z. Yusha? Head up to my room first. I'll be there in a minute. Any news? Not long after you left, some people in Smith's clothes showed up, moved their goods and headed someplace else. I tried to follow them, but they seemed to be in our line of work. They realized someone was tailing them and quickly shook me off their tail. I returned to the warehouse to take another look, and it had been cleared out completely. I don't know what these people are hiding, but it's clear that something strange is going on. Your intuition was spot on. There's something off about that sword forge. I'm afraid we've already set the enemy on alert, and we've yet to find our key evidence. The dark clouds over the city get thicker every day, while the sand in the wind is also denser. The situation is urgent. Since we have our suspects, we can try some things out.
Z?
Go to the barracks and fetch something for me.
Alright, and we continue with the after part. The deed is still not done. There was some serious kung fu on both sides, so we had no chance to strike. Leave that young candle holder to his own devices. He won't affect our plans. But that woman from Lungmen was never accounted for, and she's still after us. What a pain. We'll keep an eye on things and make a move when the time is right. No, after these two clashes, the Mandarins will definitely be on alert. So we have to be more cautious. I can let the woman live for another 2 days, but our organization can leave no clues. Right, then what do we do now? Just wait. It won't be long before he gives us fresh orders. The Mount Seas and all in between shall be our masters. They've stolen the land without even knowing it. The people will pay for their arrogance. Soon. And who might you be waiting for? Attempted assassination of a court official and disturbing the people's peace. Your conduct befouls the laws of Great Yun. It's like they mean nothing to you. You have 2 options. Lay down your arms and come with me, or I bring you in. You were Fallout. It's the same man from before. He turned the tables on you. Considering his skills, it's no surprise you couldn't do anything about it. But in the end, it was still you who let this man here. Do you understand? Yes. Good. Now we'll get rid of him first and then decide how to deal with you. You dare! Late as it is, you're still awake. We must be vigilant, lest something like yesterday's incident happen again. Surely the Grand Master has not invited me out so late to enjoy the scenery. It's auspicious for Lord Wei to stand here with us at such a crucial moment. Indeed, it would have been best to take a stroll through the city of Yumen and enjoy its scenery. The Lord Exorcist's decision naturally comes after careful consideration. Perhaps this is not for me to say, but the Lord Exorcist's responsibilities reach far beyond the safety and security of Yumen. The consequences of just one mishap are grave enough that the word trust no longer carries much weight. Indeed it is so. General Zhu and I have worked together for decades without relying on trust. I hope you understand. Have I ever expressed any dissatisfaction? Speaking of which, we have yet to properly catch up on each other's affairs. The last time I came to Yumen was 5 years ago, and the time before that was 10, but both were hectic visits. And our last meeting, let me think. We were in the capital. Yes, the year you left the capital, I had happened to be there to report on my work. I didn't expect you to remember something from so long ago. Do you not remember it, Lord Wei? I don't recall what year it was exactly, but my memories tell me it was also spring then. Late spring, a little later than the current season. That's it. At the time, you still wielded a sword, and you were not yet called Wei. There was much scenery to enjoy, and plenty of kung fu spectacles too. I have lived for so long. There are not many who leave a true impression. But even now, as I evaluate the various styles of kung fu, I still think about Shi Xiao's ultimate move. I am honored to win such a praise from the Grand Master of Kung Fu. That night seemed like it was set to rain, the weather stifling, the clouds looming low. I was on the keep and far away, but even then I saw a light in the direction of the post house. The sky abruptly broke with the chill of a sword, a sharp and decisive style of swordsmanship. As sword of Stratus rent, one stood stand fast. Afterwards, Lord Wei must have left the city. In the end, the rain did not fall. It was a very long time ago. But I wonder why you're bringing this up. The tower stands high, the two men's clothes rustle in the breeze. Even though it is a windless night, as far as the eye can see, human sentries and buildings stretch on without end. Only through the wind on the highest of points can one clearly perceive that the city is moving at a high speed. There is treachery in the court, and minds can be unpredictable. Surely no one understands this better than you. But I also believe that whose mind is consumed by ambition and cunning could never wield that style of swordsmanship. There is a matter that I would like you to help with. I dare not refuse a request from the Grandmaster himself. I would ask you to trust Yumen, just this once. You and the Lord Exorcist are alike, shouldering the peace of Yan. There are many matters of concern, but in the end, Yumen is unlike Lungmen. Yumen was built on strength of arms, and most of the people here practice Kung Fu. These people have great passion, but lack strategic thinking. Regardless, everyone here acts for the country and its people, and there is nothing wrong with hating evil as an enemy. I only fear that simple-minded people will be manipulated without their knowledge. General Zuo has agreed to a time limit of 3 days. Within these 3 days, you will get your answer. Until then, I hope you will set your grievances with the Lord Exorcist aside and stay your hand. A guest must comply with his host, and the Lord Exorcist has asked me to wait in these barracks at ease. I simply wish to share his burden, but there is really nothing I can do. I recall that Envoy Lin of Lungmen from a few days ago days past is indeed shrewd and capable, solving several cases clearly in just a few days' work. I imagine there must be several talents like her in your employ. You might be overthinking the situation. Whether the Grand Tutor, the Lord Exorcist, or Wei and Wu, every move is calculated for the safety of the people and prosperity of the country. There should be no conflict between us. But looking back over the few millennia, there have been those who share the goal. But a number of them inevitably break and even turn against each other. Yes? Indeed, you are most qualified to speak of this. Very well. For your sake, I will agree to your request. You have my thanks, Lord Wei. The night is no longer young. I suggest you retire. Oh, but there is one thing I think I have yet to mention. Cloud-splitting sword is not actually Shi Xiao's ultimate move. I want this to sink in a bit. Cloud-splitting sword is not actually Shi Xiao's ultimate move. Now you still hold the option to surrender. Choose that option, or you will never stand again. Right now it is merely at your waist. Move again and the dirt will bury you up to your shoulders. 3 more of you lie in hiding in the alley on the left, and 2 more in the eaves on the right. Your actions were to draw out my weakness and create an opportunity for an ambush. But you will not get such a chance. I admit, I underestimated your strength. It's rare for one to be proficient in both Kung Fu and our Jinyu arts. You are unworthy to comment on my Kung Fu. Yesterday, an Wailing of the LGD fended off an attack while returning to the city, and was followed today with erring intent. Earlier, a Sui regular candleholder met with an assassin in the city center. These acts were most probably all you're doing, correct? To intercept and kill a Catastrophe messenger, to steal Catastrophe data, just what are the Shanhaizhong planning in Yumen? Who exactly is behind you?
You'd better check who's behind you first.
What? Thank you very much for saving my life. I'm sorry for all that.
You shouldn't be wasting your time here.
The Illuminate woman investigated the warehouse at the Sword Forge. She's making a lot of trouble.
If you're so worried about trouble, why not go directly to the only variable that can sway the whole situation?
The old man at the Sword Forge.
Go find him and let the Catastrophe data disappear along with his body.
Understood. Master, look out!
You shouldn't be able to stand.
Rest. Go! The ground suddenly sinks beneath them, as if charged with vitality. The raised earth and rocks surround everyone in an instant.
Master, this man is not to be underestimated.
A cold light flashes for just a moment. A man falls to the ground, earth and rock, unmoving. The block is dead silent.
Waste of time and boring beyond comprehension. Yusha, what took you so long? I happened to meet an acquaintance, so I took the chance to say hello. You're a Luminite, and you seem to know plenty of people in Yumen. Well, that's enough talking. Let's piece together the information we gathered and see if we can figure anything out. I didn't get to finish that conversation on the street. What progress have you made on your end? Miss Du, what kind of person owns the Sword Forge? You mean Uncle Meng? Yes. He's an old friend of my father's, from when he was still in the business. His kung fu is renowned, but he's good at talking too, and every martial artist in Yumen trusts him. I'm not familiar with Yumen, so Chngyue logistics being able to operate here is all thanks to him. Does this stuff have anything to do with Uncle Meng? Just wondering. If you have something to say, get to the point already. I've had a suspicion that this band of thieves causing chaos in the city stowed away with the supplies smuggled from Lungmen. I've been on the smuggler's trail and it led me to the Sword Forge's warehouse. So, what did you find? The warehouse had an iron billet and had only iron billets and forge fuel. All the materials you would need for a forge. What was strange was the warehouse's guard. He had an unusual sunburn around his neck. Looked like they marked from wearing special protective equipment. As I understand it, the Catastrophe survey teams dispatched by the Imperial Astronomical Bureau trekked through the desert for long periods of time, and they wear a standardized mask for protection against the wind and sun. That sunburn wasn't faded, and the Imperial Astronomical Bureau has only dispatched that one team lately. So you're saying there's something suspicious about the team, and that they are connected to Uncle Meng? I'm trying to get us to the same page with the facts I found. Yumen has just returned from the depths of the desert, where the sunlight can be intense and sunburns are common among the city residents. Is that one little thing all you've got to make you suspicious?
Jesus, what was with the sentence?
Do you recognize this object? Where did you find this? The warehouse. I found it lying in a corner. It seemed unique and was standing out from the piles of iron billets and fuel. This is a Chngyue logistics armband that I designed myself.
The red armband is inlaid with gold trim, as well as a Shangshu-styled embroidery of twin lines flowing through a pattern of 5 pointed stars, symbolizing auspicious and smooth trade routes. The signifiers of luck and peace are dyed in disturbing orchid red, and the stains of yellow sand make it look mottled and old.
Only the kids who followed me to Yumen from Shangshu would have this. Did the quick trees also... If what befell the messenger team happened outside Yumen, then this shouldn't have made it into the city at all. Are the cheese still alive? If they are, then why are they hiding? No, who's holding them and keeping them from showing themselves? Uncle Meng? Doesn't he have 4 men he knows? But doesn't he have 4 men he knows on the team? What's going on? Miss Du, let's not jump to conclusions just yet. We need to calmly analyze the... If I can't figure it out, then I might as well stop thinking. I'll just head to the Sword Forge and get my answer. Miss Du! Yusha. I saw a tourist dressed like a Lungmanite downstairs earlier. Probably one of your men. He came to pass you something, right? That armband was evidence brought back from where the messenger team was intercepted and killed outside the city. You are using Miss Du. We have a lot of clues pointing us towards the Sword Forge right now, so we need to probe it a little. If the man is innocent, then we've ruled out a decent possibility, and she will also feel at ease. If there's really something up with the Sword Forge, won't you have put her in danger? She's certainly not the only one in danger here in Yumen. Yusha, I know you have your responsibilities, and maybe this is how you've always done things. I'm not about to argue with you over what's right or wrong, but I can't argue with your approach. Agree with your approach. I have to go and help her.
Lord Zua! What happened? The tall 40 lies on the hospital bed, his visage pale. He's barely still breathing. In Zuoli's memories, Taihei was always like a mountain. This mountain stood beside his father and himself, unshakable. What sort of force could break this mountain? Zuoli has never considered such a possibility. Monitor Sensor Taihei was brought to a military camp by 2 civilians not long ago. Tell me his condition first. The medics say they've managed to save his life, but perhaps only his life. Monitor Sensor Taihei has suffered multiple external injuries, but what's more serious is the damage to his organs. He has suffered massive internal bleeding. If he were an ordinary man, I'm afraid he would have already... Uncle Taihei shouldn't have been involved in this. He was helping me under the table. There is father. The general is guarding the other city tower. I've also notified the general, and there were only 4 words in his reply. Stay at your post. Where are the ones who brought Uncle Taihei here? Tell me the truth. We just saw the Forte dressed in Mandarin clothes lying by the roadside. We have no idea what happened, but we figured we should bring him over here. The city is under high alert right now. What were you doing out so late at night? We had trouble sleeping, so we went for a walk. Who would have thought there would be someone lying by the roadside as soon as we went out? Terrifying. So you live in the area, but heard nothing strange? Nothing. Where did you find the wounded? In the south of the city, near the Sword Forge's alley. The Sword Forge. Sorry, can I go home now? No. Your testimony is unclear,
so as a witness, you can't leave just yet.
Well... Millennium? Present.
I'm moving out. Gather your team. Search the sword forge.
Sir, the General's orders were to stick to your posts.
Father ordered me to hunt down the assassin and locate the sword in 3 days to restore peace in Yumen. Even with his strength, Monitor Sensor Taihei has been gravely injured. This surely has some link to the Feranmut followers.
Going to the scene of the crime to find the truth and arrest the culprit, is that not sticking to my post? Go. Yes, sir. Alright, and this is where we are gonna call it for today. Next time we shall continue on from stage 4 and see how far we get, considering that I believe there should be a in-between stages cutscene part soon, so maybe next part is gonna be a bit longer, but that will be for tomorrow. I would again like to point out that sentence from Wei and Wu. The cloud-splitting sword is not Shi Xiao's ultimate move. I'm kinda curious, reading that sentence for the first time just sent like very excited shivers down my spine. I kinda wanna know from you guys watching this as well, in the comments below, hopefully. Did that sentence also send down shivers down your spine? Like, that is... No, that is a loaded sentence, buddy. Anyway, like I said, this is where we're gonna head stop for today, rather. So, thank you very much for listening. If you've liked this video, consider leaving a like. They help me a lot in the algorithm and mean a lot to me. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. There's a lot more on the channel just like this, so if you like this, chances are you're gonna like the rest. Especially if you want some reminders on old stories or need refreshers or something to treat like an audiobook. But anyway, thank you very much, as always. I will see you in the next part. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you then. What am I trying to say here? Whatever. Bye-bye.